Hi, I'm Jeremy, I'm a writer, and this is my YouTube channel where I make videos about all things imaginary. This week I'm making another video about LARPing, and specifically about starting and running a business at a LARP. A business where you take something that you make or create out of game and sell it in-game for either real money or in-game currency. I actually brought on a friend of mine who runs a business at the game that I go to, Twin Mask, a LARP here in Southern California, to talk about his experiences running the Clocktower Cantina. So we're just going to jump into the kind of interview conversation that we have so you can learn all about what it takes and what goes into running a business at a LARP. This is my friend Eddie.
What's going on?
Eddie Rose with the Z.
With the Z.
With the Z, classy. Eddie and I started playing together at Twin Mask in the same game back in November last year. We're going to talk today about having a business at game because you started Clocktower Cantina.
I did.
Which is essentially like a restaurant slash food stall.
It's the finest restaurant in Port Freight.
Right, exactly, exactly. And before we get into that, I think it'd be interesting and cool to start just a little bit about you and LARPing and that side of it, your character. I don't think I actually know this. Have you LARPed before Twin Mask?
No, actually,
okay.
Twin Mask was my first ever LARP. A few friends introduced it to me back in September, and I built a character, waited all of October, bought a whole bunch of stuff, and then came in November and I was hooked.
Okay, cool. So that was also your first game, completely. What did you think about the game afterwards? Like, compared to what you thought it would be like going in, how is it different than what you actually experienced?
So, it was more of what I expected.
Okay.
Somebody told me,
okay.
Yeah, somebody told me it's D&D, but your character.
Okay, yeah,
And
you
I was
have to
like,
just do the things physically.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
just go do it. You know, don't roll the dice. Just go do it. I was like, okay, so I can work on that. As cheesy as it sounds, it was definitely life changing as far as like my nerddom goes.
Right.
There was nothing else out there. Like
well, it's a big hobby, right?
Yeah.
Like it becomes a big part of the amount of time you
Absolutely.
spend. Like not only that weekend, 8 times a year, but also between games, things that you're working on, crafting projects.
Yeah, we like a lot of crafting projects now. I'm working on spell packets. Just did a book. Before that, I was building wings. Stuff for the Cantina, and it's not all like the hands-on stuff, you know, especially with the Cantina. Like we made a banner, so I commissioned someone to make like a crest, and had to find the right font online. But it does become this time-consuming thing, but it doesn't feel like a chore.
No, it's a hobby. It's just like a hobby that you happen to spend a lot of time on.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, because I think also it's interesting the idea of it becoming a chore and those responsibilities that we've talked a little bit about. Because at that time gets challenged, I think, when you start to turn it into, it's not necessarily that it's a business venture, but you do business things in the game, especially that require out-of-character work.
Definitely.
Right? Like that going to make it more challenging. So before we really dive into that, can you give like a summary about your character?
I can say some things about my character.
Okay.
Xeris is a mainly demon-blooded character who he's got strong connections with family and friends and people he cares about. And doesn't really care about much else outside of Port Freight. Port Freight is his home. He's established it as, this is where I am, this is mine, I will do what I can to protect it. But he's also got that whatever means necessary side to him. And he's not afraid to show that either. He's not afraid to do something bad. So, with the Cantina, for example, it's about doing something really good.
Sure.
But there's a lot of times in the night where he'll go and do something really shady, and hopefully no one ever finds out about it, and it just works out for the better at the end of it. And that's
he's
really
kind of
what
like a
drives him.
suave character as well.
Well,
like fancy, sketchy.
He's Dacian, so he likes to put on that facade of I can't really call it a facade. It's kind of like built into him to try to be the silver tongue and have his way with words and dress a little bit nicer and stuff, but he's also got that, I will get bloody. If you tear my cloak, it's not the end of the world because I'm going to tear you apart.
Sure.
So it's this, it's a real balancing act.
Yeah, so our characters are friendly, but our cultures are very clearly opposites, and my character especially hates Dace. And so for me, all the Dacian players are the players that I like, quote unquote, love to hate. I'm not necessarily antagonistic with them, but I do always throw pot shots at Dace pretty much whenever I can.
Yeah.
And I think most of the things that most of the Dacians understand that in the context of the wider world, their culture is a little ridiculous.
A little bit.
It's very much the Venetian overly fanciful, overwrought
Right.
society.
They're extra.
They're extra. Extra, yeah. Right. I pretty much just said the old man arcade version of just saying they're extra.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Next week, we'll be going away to our 5th game. At this point, we're like essentially quote unquote veteran players. Like we're past that experience. Yeah, we're past that point of new players and that kind of not comfort zone, but the grace period.
I think the biggest difference, especially with the influx of characters, is how much it's become a city. How much when I put on my character and I put on Xeris' outfit and I go through Port Frey, it's alive.
Right.
And I feel more like my character in those 2 days than I do feel like I'm playing a character, because I could very easily be like, I want to go get a drink somewhere.
You'd find like a random tea shop or find somebody with their own.
Absolutely. Or
totally.
Later on, we go down the road and be like, I really feel like fighting something and I don't want to get in trouble for it. Oh, there's people practicing in the arena.
Yes.
Let's just go. Whereas back when I first started, it was so much eye-opening. What do I get to do next? Kid at Disneyland, wanting to run around and see and explore everything, and now I can just sit back and let the town live and breathe as my character, and focus on the goals that I have for him.
So obviously people watching my videos know my character, for me, that's like the harbor master stuff and harbor things, ship-related commerce things. And that always gives me like clear direction of things to go into. For you, it seems like outside of your sketchy business,
it's not
which,
important.
we don't even talk about that. We talked about that. It's the Clocktower Cantina, right? The business that you run there. So you explain it's the finest restaurant.
It's the finest restaurant in Port Frey. It didn't start that way. So December was the Cantina, when the Cantina came alive. And my character, he didn't really have a lot of faith in the gods. He knew about the Clocktower games, which is some really funny stuff you'll find out for later.
Clocktower is related to something important in the world of the game.
Yes.
That's important to say.
But he named the restaurant Clocktower Cantina kind of as like a slight at that. And the motto was, if you're here, doesn't matter who you are, what you are, nobility, your class isn't like your class, just come here, have a drink, be a person, be a being. And all we sold was drinks. And then after the drinks went, I realized I can do more drinks, I can do different recipes. Let me see if we can add food. February's game, we ran food twice, Friday and Saturday night only. And we brought enough after seeing how much the drinks, how many, words are hard, how much drink we ran out, based off of how many cups we served, we counted everything down to the T.
You kind of figure out how much more you needed to do.
Right, and then did that for food. And then March's game, we were like, let's do an 11 o'clock in the afternoon one. And then we brought even more food and with the same numbers. So it was definitely a growing process.
Sure.
It definitely, I don't think that if we had gone in any other direction, it would have been so easy. It would have been very overwhelming to be where we are now, starting that way in December.
So I've been curious about like starting a business at game, just because I think it's such an interesting, exciting thing. It seems like a lot of work, probably not something I'm ready to do. I just find it really interesting and something I've looked into. And there's not that much information about it out there, really. Like there's not a lot of really great like guides or info, which is part of why I want to make this video. And I think it might be useful if we break it down kind of into like a how-to of, we were talking a little bit about that, explaining the process of setting something up like that. And I think the first thing to clarify is like, what is a business at game? Because a lot of games has rules for business owners in the world of the game. So like in Twin Mask, you have an entrepreneur skill you can pick up, which allows your character to get money every game, and is based on your character running a business in the world of the game. But you might not actually be physically running that business as a player, right? I think for me, when I think of business as a game, I think of things that you do out of character, like to prepare beforehand, whether it's crafting or food. I think those are really the two main types. Crafting or like food and drink. And then that's something that you bring into game that you do both as a player and as a character, right? You kind of find like an in-character justification or a way for that to kind of run. Do you think that's a pretty good
Definitely.
summary?
There's a lot of businesses that operate the same way.
One of the key differences that I feel like exists between kinds of businesses and games is that there are businesses that people run where they only take in-character money, and there are businesses where you take both out-of-character or in-character money. Most of the people that make food and drink tend to also take out-of-character money as well, right? That's and you take both at the Clocktower Cantina. You're doing like pre-orders and things like that, which we can talk about.
Well, for me, it was in the last 4 games or 3 games that the Cantina's run, I've really hated having to turn someone down.
Right.
Because I understand like we are the only shop that, well, we're not the only one, but we're the major shop that sells hot drinks.
Sure.
And the nights get cold.
Yes.
And you know, we always stress if it comes to a safety issue, we have water, hot drink, and fruit, so that you can be taken care of. You know?
And you were giving water for free last game, which is
no, don't charge for any of that stuff.
Good thing to do.
But
because it gets cold at night, and it's getting really hot during the day
yes,
now.
it is. But you know, it's just really sad because like this bird fae comes up. She's like, I don't have any silver, and I was like, I can't feed you. I have employees in game, so you know, I got to make sure I pay them as well. So then I realized, okay, well, if I do a pre-order system, then I can continue to provide that service, and then the players that want food and don't have anything to do with money in game
can role play that you're giving them food or that you're,
exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Those different layers of setting it up, I think, are really important. Not everybody has cash, so give me in-game currency. Not everybody has or plays a character with in-game currency, so give me cash.
Definitely. How did you decide that you wanted to serve those drinks in the first place? Like back when that was...
So, for the wassail, which is the mulled apple cider, I wanted to find something that was warm and that would help your throat, actually. Because it's kind of like a tea.
Because there was a lot of dust and stuff like that. That makes
November's
sense.
game. That was why wassail came into existence.
I see. We haven't had as much dust problem.
No, we haven't.
Really.
The rain's packed everything down.
Yeah,
really nice.
That's true. That's true.
And then the one that we have right now that's blowing up, it's called creme chocolat, and it is a white chocolate milk.
Ooh.
That's served hot, and it is it's so good.
Were you much of like a cook or like into a lot of these drinks beforehand?
No.
You just kind of started learning about it as you're doing this. That's funny because it's very much like being like an entrepreneur in like real life.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like,
I have to do the research.
Learn about all this stuff and like figure out what would be good to prepare and like.
Well, I did a combination of what was period and what made sense. And fortunately, the rule book of Twin Masks, it tells you, Celestian Empire kind of mimics this nation.
Right.
So when I started thinking about the drinks I wanted to make, originally I was going to say, this is wassail from Celestian Empire. And then I was like, no, I want it to be Port Frey's signature drinks. But I still wanted to take that same influence as far as what I was making. And then kind of go from there with the drinks. I don't know how period chocolate milk is, but I'm still going to sell it. It's still really good.
Yeah. At a certain point, you're blending those lines anyways. And getting that already. So you already knew that you wanted to essentially get something together, but having a business at game, you know, it gives you a lot of responsibilities of not just before game and preparation, but at game, things that you got to do. Were you already open to changing Xeris to be that way, or having him evolve to be that? Because now you're not necessarily as free to run around as much.
That's very true. Last gathering, one player died that Xeris was supposed to protect, and that messed him up. Mentally.
I was too busy serving food.
That's exactly what it was, though.
And I'm sorry you had to die, but people needed to eat.
Well, because from a logistics standpoint, we can't have the open flame if I'm not attending to it.
Right.
There's only a few of the employees of the cantina can operate the grill.
Right. Just safety-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
At the time that player died, no one else was there, so I couldn't have gone and run off. Now I did later on kill the person that killed our player. I was like, I got you revenge, you know, but I felt really bad. Because there was nothing I could do. I was like, I have this open flame, you know, food starts in 15 minutes, and you died.
And it's not that you're there the entire time.
No, definitely
but
not.
You do, you're there for, 3 meal times now? Friday night, Saturday day, and Saturday
So we're doing
night?
11 to 1, Friday night, Saturday night, and then Saturday midday. So it's always 11 to 1. But the reality is showing up an hour early.
Right, you got to get everything ready.
And then staying 30 minutes after to clean everything up.
So that's still a decent chunk of your potential game time where you could be doing, running around with players or getting involved in plot or pushing your own agenda, that now you're doing this thing. What do you, I don't know, how have you been feeling about that, both as Xeris and as a player?
To one extent, it did bum me out for a little bit, but then I realized that it provides this opportunity, because I was telling you before, I built Xeris to not be able to do it all.
Right.
So now I can go find players and have them do either Cantina stuff or my other stuff outside, and then have them come back to me. And then I kind of feel like, sometimes I feel like this mob boss, and sometimes I feel like this suave business owner, because like middle of the shift, oh, one of my coworkers will come in and they're gonna run the cantina now. Cool, I'm gonna go grab my swords because there's imps down there.
It gives you a really tangible thing to also like anchor your character being or doing in the town, right? Like you are now, oh, I'm Zeris, I run the Clocktower Cantina.
Yes.
It's not just like saying that and saying that you eat at my place. You can literally come and eat at my place and like have the food that I'm
It's legit.
making.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool. What's the preparation like beforehand? Obviously you gotta build a menu, get food together, but you know, that seems like a lot. And then obviously you are charging, but you're not charging an exorbitant sum.
No.
Is it like costly getting everything together?
So we do 10 days prior to LARP. We go and buy everything. Go buy all the ingredients that we need. Certain drinks have to sit, like the mulled apple cider has to sit for like a week before it's actually even decent to make. So then that's when we just start food prep. And then what we do is every day we just take another thing off the checklist. So we're not doing it all at once, but then come Friday, everything's ready. We make whatever food we can ahead of time, and then when we get to site, it's a lot of just, like when we did the fried rice, we made the rice beforehand, we made the vegetables, the eggs beforehand.
And that works for fried rice anyway.
Exactly, and then at site, just threw that together and actually fried it together, added soy sauce, that was ready. But the pot stickers, couldn't do that beforehand.
Sure.
So that was on-site pot stickers.
And with food, you got to be careful with like dietary and allergies and stuff. How are you approaching that?
Very strictly. We do a lot of research into first the recipes.
Sure.
Figuring out down to what product of it we buy. We're doing chili this upcoming gathering. We're trying to make it vegan and gluten free.
Yeah.
So
what I saw you doing like the vegan yakisoba as well, and then you're having meat on the sides, and then people can.
So yeah, exactly. So if you want the meat, then by all means, and it's not going to cost you any more, which is the best part of it.
Right.
So it's got that buffet price kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And then how do you decide on the prices, both in game and out of game?
So the prices fluctuated a lot. I did a lot of feedback. I got a lot of strange feedback the entire journey to getting to where it was. At one point, people were like, 1 silver is way too much. And swear to God, 1 silver for drinks.
1 silver is pretty much the lowest denomination your character can earn from a skill. So that's really not a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, your drink should only be like 5 copper.
It's true that a lot of characters don't make a ton of money.
Right, but it's also all you can drink and all you can eat. So you can just keep coming back. And I've had people come in with canteens.
Wow.
And I'm like, you're right, it's 1 silver, and then that fill up their canteen and then they walk off with it.
Great.
So there's, it's kind of got that 7-Eleven Slurpee thing where, you bring your vessel, your container, and then the food is just 2 silver. And then I also
and that's also all you can eat.
All you can eat. Crazy. So all you can eat and drink for 2 silver.
That's not much.
So you have to pay again for the next time the food's around.
Next meal. Yeah.
But it's still a lot. Like we do 80 to 100 servings of food. If somebody comes and has 4 servings of food, then somebody else, that's potentially less money down that road. Sometimes as it gets later on in the day, we'll give people more servings because we have extra food, more than we thought we were going to get rid of early on. So it's definitely a balancing act. As far as on the out of character, as far as like real cash goes, we've kept our price right now. It's the first time we've run it with cash.
Pre-orders, people paying beforehand.
And I wanted to discourage people going to the cantina as the alternative to the meal plan. Because I know Chef puts a lot of work in and provides definitely heartier meals.
Right, they're more like full meals with various items.
And so, after a lot of discussion with the other staff members, I just said, there are some players who don't need Chef's amount of food. And there are some players who need Chef's food and also need food in between.
Right.
And those are the people we want to target with the pre-order.
And there are people who are making their own food and are okay to have most of their own meals and want to either just pick up one meal or something like that. Because Chef, you can also buy the meal plan or you can buy just one meal.
Right.
Same with you, right? You can pre-order or you can just buy an individual meal. Yeah. And Chef, you can only buy with out-of-game money. It's like it's not ordained by or organized by the game, but it's approved and supported by the game. So it's meant to be like fully, it's like catering essentially.
Yeah, and it provides such a good service. Because I've used Chef's meal, besides the fact that its food is phenomenal.
Sure.
There are times that I've known, like, if I didn't eat I'd probably be like passed out somewhere because.
Yeah, and I just don't like. I'm not an experienced camper, so for me having meals ready at game is great. I've been on the meal plan every game since my first. I always make sure to get right in there. He provides a vegan, vegetarian menu, so that's perfect for me. And on top of that, I still buy other stuff. Like people bring cakes and brownies to game and stuff, and you know I'm a glutton, so eating that. And I told Eddie that I've also pre-ordered for his as well. So I'm gonna be just eating
everything.
I'm gonna need to play just like a. Yeah,
I want to give you a nice platter.
Yeah, exactly. I need to make like a real gourmet.
We'll get you like a buffer platter so that you can
That's
keep
amazing.
with it too.
That's great. That'll be my next goal.
That'll be perfect.
More to the list. Yeah. And then one of the other, I think, also important things there, and money-wise, it's $12, right, that you're doing right now, which is very reasonable for 3 meals.
Right. Yeah, so you're like basically paying $4, but you're also not getting. I'm not giving you a full plate. I'm giving you pretty much bowl serving.
Right.
And
it's plenty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and drinks and stuff like that. Lots. I think one of the other important things, and probably one of the difficult things at most other games, is location. Right, so I've talked about this a lot. I think one of the coolest parts about Twin Mask is that we have this permanent Renaissance fairground. That there are buildings, not all of the buildings, but a lot of the buildings are accessible and rented out to players, and they can actually occupy them. And so when we have our like tavern, it's in an actual built building, and when people have their own camps and things like that, they're either next to or around real buildings, and it makes it feel much more like a town. So you take that with the fact that there's 300 people running around, and it feels really like a town, and that means that you're also able to have your Clocktower Cantina in a building with seating areas, and people can come out front, and you've got essentially like table space and things that you can set up with, whereas in a lot of other games, I imagine people are going to be doing things out of tents or much more camping, which is fine. But I'm curious how figuring that out for you comes into play in setting up for.
So I actually got help with a player named Alex Marks who plays Roland.
Yeah. He plays an alchemist, bartender.
Right. Runs a silver tankard.
Yes.
When I originally pitched the idea to him, and I said, "What do you think? Do you think this will work in game?" He was like, "I love it. Let me help you find, connect with some of the veteran players that own some of these buildings."
Sure.
So originally we were going to work with the Golden Kilt.
Got it.
But because of reasons, because my character and things, it was like, not. The Golden Kilt is a very Kestrel and Celestial driven bar, and my character being a very demonic character, there would have been too much conflict for the Cantina to exist and live and prosper.
So it was like an in-character consideration there.
So then we moved on.
The Kestrel bar is kind of like an Irish pub in the world.
Yes,
I think it's the best way to think about it.
Yes, it is.
Irish pub, some angels apparently, celestials.
Yeah, some celestials.
I didn't realize there were celestials involved as well.
Yeah, I didn't either. That became news to me later on. But
got it. But so you decided to do your own thing, and he helped you find this building that you're in.
So then we started operating there.
And it's central to the town. Like, how important do you think having a central location in whatever LARP you're in is to doing some sort of food thing?
I think it's very central. So one of the big things about running a business is threat observation.
That's funny. That's not something you really say anywhere else, right? When you're like, you don't open up a restaurant and you're worried about like imps.
Right, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
That's a very unique LARP thing.
Very, very unique. I was really concerned with if we get too far out of town. At first I was like, people might not find out about us, or people might not want to travel that far. And then later on I realized, oh no, that's where the bad people come from. That's where all the danger starts. If the danger starts near the Cantina, a quick yell, someone from the tavern's coming.
There's plenty of people. It gets squashed pretty quickly.
Exactly. So we have that aura of, it's safe here, compared to if we went out towards the gazebo, which is a beautiful location. And the tea house is there right now. They put down pillows, and it's right across from the brothel. It's a weird combination. But
that's where I got down as an NPC.
Exactly.
Like you attack there, and like there's just nobody really around.
Right.
So that makes
somebody has to run all the way down to if there's no one around to get that help in that time of need. And combining that with the logistics of I have an open flame. There's safety that goes into it too. Do I walk away from all this food if my character dies and I'm there cooking by myself? There was a lot of connecting the dots and making sure everything lined up. And when we found the Pirate Cove, which is the name of the location, the Cantina just fit so perfectly, and it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Cool, that's awesome. I imagine that like those are really the big elements, right? You need to figure out what concept you're going to be doing, right? Whether you're bringing in crafting supplies and or food, you need to figure out what you're going to charge for it, and like that probably will react and evolve over games. do the preparation beforehand, actually make the thing or get things as ready as possible, and then have a location to sell stuff, right? And then you're also getting the word out, I guess. How much of that is in character versus out of character? You're making all these flyers and posters.
That's the worst part.
That's the worst part?
That's the worst part. So everything else is, when you're making the food and stuff, you're constantly thinking, how will this taste and stuff. But once you know you have it, you've got it. You know, once you try something, you're like, this is really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You go through that whole experimentation process.
The flyer? No.
You just don't know what's actually going to bring people in, or like, and that's a whole different set of skills, right? As well. You're not just providing food, right? You're also like hiring musicians and hiring speakers to come in. And so, for anyone thinking about starting a business at a LARP, right, for your character, slightly out of character, you can make some extra money. Like, you can help fund the hobby, I think, if you can, right? Because you're probably not going to come away from this. It's not a real business.
No.
Right?
No,
I don't think approaching it that way, unless you're like a catering person. Like, I think it's best to think about it as like a small side hustle that might make it easier for you to buy the costuming stuff that you want, and to afford being able to go to the game and things like that. Like that, I think is probably the best way. And
that's 100% where it goes. The pre-orders that we get coming in, they turn around for the food that we buy, and then what's left after that will be, okay, let's see, do we have a nightlight? Do we have a citronella candle?
Yeah.
You know, just stuff, and it all goes right back into it.
Gas game, and you know, food for you guys.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, because we rent a truck now to get all the Cantina stuff there, so you know, the pre-orders help pay for that. It just makes it a lot easier out of our pockets to not have to deal with that, you know. So. And
it makes it justifies it, right? Because you're spending that time not only doing the business, but also the side stuff of having the musicians, having the speakers. Have you found that that's really like a draw for people, and that adds to the? It
surprised me. The first time we did it at night, and that was a mistake. Because it was nighttime and there was too many.
Everybody's like freaked out about stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
So we switched that to the day shift one. That's also why we added the lunchtime or the breakfast time during the day. Right.
Because even if there's like dangerous stuff happening, you're not as freaked out.
Right.
Yes, bees.
So we noticed when we had Belladonna speak that a lot of people stayed and they listened to what she had to say, and at that point I wanted the platform for the guest speakers to be. Like, don't say anything that's in character racist. You know, don't all demons don't do that. Don't be elitist with your culture.
It's not like street corner milk carton.
No, not at all.
It's meant to be more like lecture.
Educate the town of something that matters to your
town
character.
Square style. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this upcoming gathering, we have the healers, part of the triage. They're coming in and they're gonna help inform people that are willing to listen of. Hey, this is where we'll set up at, this is how you need to take care of yourself so that we can take care of you better as healers. And I'm like, that's really important, so I gave them that platform.
Sure.
And then the band just keeps the music and that atmosphere and that liveliness of the Cantina. And then that combination plus the smell of delicious food, people stay. And it's really cool to watch when we got that picture taken, it shows the Cantina and the band's playing and a lot of people just
sitting down inside, standing around out front. Yeah.
And
you can just hang out and chat. I mean, I would go by and a lot of the same people would still be like, you know, hanging out and had a new home base to kind of be in or stop by.
Right, and that was really enjoyable. Just kind of the last gathering, I got to look at it and say, this is a lot of hard work over the last 4 or 5 months paid off, people are happy. And not only am I providing an entertainment service and a platform for people to speak, but I'm providing food. You know, people are waking up at 8 in the morning and are hungry. People are arriving into game and they're going, oh man, there's food. You know, I just got here from, as soon as I could. When I woke up, I haven't eaten breakfast yet. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you're here. You know, go get dressed, come get some food.
Right.
So it's satisfying.
I'm glad that it's like the message that you're kind of coming away with is, no, it's worth it. Like, I'm enjoying it. It would suck if you feel like that. It's too much work.
Yeah, no, we're done.
Because I mean, I think, there's a lot of possible business types, and I think, like, making it possible for players to do this kind of thing and having there be information so it's easier for a player to start this up, even if it's something small.
Right.
Like, even when you were just doing drinks, or even if you didn't have, like, a full location with a seating area and, like, a full, place that you can cook. It's not a kitchen, but you've got, your...
it's like a kitchen.
Stovetop, essentially, yeah. Having all that, it all adds so much to the experience of the game, and I think that's true whether it's a LARP like ours, which is decent sized for American games, right, around 300 people, or a much smaller game, 20 people, 30 people, just having something would be great, or a way bigger game, just because that scale of having all these different enterprises, I think, makes the world feel more I don't know, fleshed out and real.
At the end of the day, what's most important for me with the Cantina is making sure that that service is provided, making sure that people are taken care of on an out-of-character level, but also allowing it to be an avenue for roleplay, you know, with the entertainment side and with the guest speakers and with people that might just want to cook, you know, that like it's really tough. I imagine it's really tough to take a cooking skill and not be able to physically cook. So I'll train you. I'll teach you out of character how to use and operate the grill, and then in character you can live that. You know, if you want to be a bard and you want to sing, bring your guitar, join my band, and then I'll pay you. You know,
You're
I'll pay
giving
you
them
to be in that.
opportunities to do more things, and it's not just about you running this business. It's also about like how you're connecting to the community, and providing opportunities for them. So that's pretty much it for the video. That's the last note to end on. I hope you found this interesting and useful. Let me know if you want more of these kinds of LARP videos, or if you do any sort of business things at your LARP in the comments down below. And I make a new video about something nerdy, something imaginary every single Friday, though I've been missing some weeks recently. If you want to keep track for when a new video does come out, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.